Okay, well, I'm back. And so here on our small Tennessean homestead, it looks like we're going to be here for a bit, unless, uh, the Lord intervenes and some type of, I'm looking for at least 5 to 10 acres. I would love to have a stream on it. I love to be near the Smoky Mountains where we are right now. And, uh, and I want to be able to not be in debt. So if whenever the land situation can totally arise officially, and I'm going to explain what just happened to the 5 acres that we thought we were going to get. Uh, well, I'll tell you, it's interesting. So so we're here for the moment. We're going to stay here, and I have done so much to this property, and I need to do so much to this property in the next 30 days before spring gets here. And so going back to the 5 acres, this is what we have figured out, or what we actually discovered. In those 5 acres, which I did 1 or 2 uploads on to let you all know, looked awesome. It was affordable. We were going to do a home equity line where we're at right now and just pay it off. And but by doing that, that would put a lien against on our property. And I was pre-approved for the home equity loan for more than what the land was being, the purchase price of the land. But I got a phone call about two weeks ago, was it? I think about 2 weeks ago, in the midst of my beginning to get really sick with the flu virus. And I have had a colonoscopy at the end of January, and actually that was not anything exciting to brag about. And I just got word 2 days ago that I'm clean, I'm negative. In other words, I have no cancer or anything of that nature. So I shouted hip hip hooray, and I'm just very excited about that. If most of you probably know, I'm in my mid-60s right now, age-wise. And I have the heart of a 30-year-old in the sense of wanting to do this thing with homesteading. I got to be careful because many of you that might be in my are anywhere near the 50s, 60s, or 70s or beyond age bracket, you know what it's like. You got to be careful with what you do physically, and so you just got to be realistic. So going back to the 5 acres again, I'm rattling on here. The neighbors the people that were going to be our neighbors, I actually had called them a week or two before I even uploaded that last video about the 5 acres to introduce myself to them. They have a German Shepherd breeding farm, and they raise horses, and they sounded like they'd be really neat people. They advertise on the internet, so that's how I had their phone number. I introduced myself to them, but I never heard back until about a couple weeks ago, and I think his name is Derek. That would have been our neighbors, and he proceeded to tell me things that blew me away about that 5 acres right next door to him that we were wanting to buy. And that 5 acres was in a massive flood zone. And what's really sad is that our realtor knew about it. And the only reason why we were going to do 5 acres is because we want our family, we want to leave it as a legacy, so to speak, and also for our entire family to have access to it. All Ida, my wife, and I wanted to do was to build a small home towards the top of it, put in a beautiful barn, have an area for gardening and fruit trees and things that we're doing where I'm at right now. And it looks as though, according to what I investigated after that phone call, where he was so awesome to share, he even sent me pictures of how massive. It flooded more than 2.5 acres during the rainy times here in Tennessee. And organizations like Xfinity or Comcast. There's a couple other big internet companies. They refuse to lay lines down. They refuse to service the area because it's just really bad. And so basically, if we had purchased for $60,000 the 5 acres, we probably would only be able to use maybe 2 acres, and that would have been at the far end of the property. That's where I actually had wanted to put our home on. But I was thinking about our kids in Washington as when they come down the road here in a year to be with us. I was thinking that they would have the major part of that property in the front, and they couldn't because it won't perk. It's used to be used as a dump field, and it's a flood zone. And I did some investigation, and sure enough, everything that Derek mentioned to me, who would have been our future neighbor, it was a blessing. I believe God just opened his heart to share with us, and we canceled our contract with the realtor and with the people in New York that owned that property, and I did get my $1,000 back, and thank God, and I just cleared up, put it back on the credit card scenario. And so we don't have a property on the side right now. We're just right here on our half an acre, and this beautiful half an acre. And I'm learning to deal with, and having to learn to deal with what we have and how to make it be successful as long as we're here. And if we ever do sell it, I want it to be a blessing to whoever would take it over. So I mean, we're still open to acquiring land, but not in a flood zone, and to not be involved with a realtor that actually knew the negative things about the property, but never shared that with us. All she wanted to do was make a buck, and it's really sad. Oh my God, it's so sad. So that's the latest on the property, and I'm going to cut this off right at the moment, and I'll be right back to fill you in what I am now planning to do here on our Fruits and Berries of Small Tennessean homestead, now that we're staying here at least for the next year or so. Okay, so bear with me for a moment here.